overflow of generosity, vitality, youthfulness, if you will, that's coming almost more through someone than from them.
Mm.
Which kind of takes me back to both. A number of different people have talked about the incarnation as sort of ultimate joviality. Actually, one of my favorite writers about joviality was Luther, and he has some great Christmas sermons all about just like everyone but the devil and the flesh laugh at the image of the incarnation, and there's overflowing joy. And I wonder if part of the reason that you can talk about joviality as an attitude or as a virtue, is something that you can cultivate as opposed to something you're just sort of born with or not, is because you can talk about it as the overflow of Christ himself, the overflow of the Imago Dei, body of Christ. I'm totally mixing bits of the story of the people of God, right? But that this overflow of divine kingliness in you, of which you are an image bearer and not the source.
Yeah, and the kingliness, I think, points to how a lot of this, I think a lot could be made of out of the idea that we are vehicles. But I think that I would prefer to noodle at the idea that we are imitators, right? And so this is a kingly attribute, and in a sense we are kings, and in a sense though we're not, we're definitely not the king, right? So we're imitating Christ, and in imitating Christ we try to be jovial. But I love, Brian, that you brought up that, I mean, jovial is a regal word. It is like only a king can truly be jovial. If
Why?
to be jovial is to be like, well, because I think it's the ultimate ring giving, right? I mean, I do tend to think etymologically. I tell my students that my favorite fallacy is the etymological fallacy. I just
I'm
go
just pausing
backwards
to,
until what's that? Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I'm just pausing to appreciate that you have a favorite fallacy.
Yeah. But yeah, so I tend to I tend to think of the words as being what their roots are, which is often helpful. Sometimes it's not. And it's not a fair way to debate with people, that's for sure. But jovial, I mean, I think we ought to connect it to Jove, and then as Christians, deeper through Jove and Father Christmas and to Jehovah. And so, I would put some weight on just where the word has come from. But more deeply, I would put just the fact, if we accept that joviality is festival, and we think about how significant it was for a Lord to be able to give rings and to give meat, right? Like, this king is a good king, because when we go to his feasts, there's meat. Right. We live in an age now where we forget how important that is. Like, we get fat and we get wine when we go to be with this Lord. It's a lordly thing to bestow. And so I think it's a sign of the march of the gospel that more and more we can all behave in kingly fashions concretely, not just with a you go queen, you go king, but like, no, I can give my kids meat to eat, and that's a pretty kingly thing. But then it overflows from there. But yeah, I'd want to attach it to this gift giving, to bestowing. Anyone who bestows is assuming some sort of sense of responsibility and care in a feudal way.